And based on the questions that we have received, we understand that most of you are wanting to know more about what startup formation would involve. What is it that an entrepreneur as a risk taker would have support in the form of incubation centers? And secondly, in terms of funding, what are the various funding opportunities available for early stage startups? And through these next 30 minutes, we will take you through this presentation and followed by Q&A. So if you have any question and answers, in the meantime, you can keep posting that on the chat box or the Q&A box that you have. So let me start once again by welcome you all. My name is Rakesh, and taking you through what SINE is. SINE is Society for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. We are the Technology Business Incubation Center at IIT Bombay. And SINE has been in existence over the last 16 years. So we were incorporated in the year 2004, and we are registered as a society under Societies Act. So the mandate of SINE is to support technology startups, preferably with an IP component, and we will help you in being successful by providing various support, which we will be taking you through the session. And some of the basis of incubation, we look at various aspects. One is in terms of the entrepreneurial, the team as such, how entrepreneurial you are, and the economic support that economic growth that is a market that is at hand for to capture social impact and strategic value. These are some of the things that we look at, but most importantly, we look at the team and the market and yeah. And so taking you through the entrepreneurial ecosystem at IIT Bombay, all these serve as pipeline for SINE for getting access to world-class technologies and startups. So we have a school of entrepreneurship, which is called as the DA Center, which is the SIT Center for Entrepreneurship. We have various entrepreneur clubs on campus, both technical as well as business related. We have the ECEL, which is one of the largest in the country. We have industry collaboration for R&D. So various industries come to IIT Bombay and work alongside various faculty members. And along with that, we have various applied research group and core research groups. So what point that we're trying to make is that if you're at SINE, you get access to a wealth or a mine of technology, a gold mine of technologies out there, as well as business acumen, people with a lot of experience who can help you in your entrepreneurial journey. And along with that, a startup cannot survive on its own. It needs access to various components in the ecosystem. And by that, we mean we are well associated with, as I mentioned, the IIT Bombay, the core competence that we have in terms of the faculty members and students and the R&D work that keeps going on. We have connection with various industry networks and investors, mentors and experts, various associations such as TIE and NASCOM, etc. We are well connected with manufacturers and service providers because we deal a lot with technology startups, and most of them have a hardware component associated with it. So it's important that the innovators are exposed to or get access to providers who can help in building a prototype at a lower cost with a shorter lead time and good quality. Startup associations and international connects. So we have ongoing programs with the various governments outside of India, and we have a joint program which we'll also be sharing in the following slides. So SINE program and benefits. So we have end-to-end support. That's the core that I would like to reinforce. That we started a stage which is a proof of concept or an idea stage. That is what we call as a pre-incubation stage, which is wherein you are still grappling in terms of what exactly that you want to do. You're not sure whether to incorporate a company, and you want to work as the prototype. So we have a prototype grant which is available in a proof of concept stage. So once you are serious and you say like, okay, I'm going to focus on this alone as a career option. I want to form a startup, and I want to formally incubate at SINE. We have the incubation program wherein we provide a host of support. And once you reach the stage and you want to reach the next inflection point, that is, you want to do a scale up, and you want to have a more growth within the country and outside. We have various programs that can help in facilitating that as well. So if you look end-to-end support right from an ideation stage to a startup stage to a scale-up stage, and that's what SINE brings into the picture. So in terms of support, we have infrastructure, right? So we're not just a co-working space or somebody who provides with you with real estate, but we have access to various labs, including IIT Bombay labs, as well as prototyping lab, which is available at our SINE lab. We have a seed funding component, so our seed funding ranges from 2.5 lakhs up to 100 lakhs. So up to a crore of funding is made available as part of the seed funding. We also have access to various venture capitalists and angel investors who invest at various stages. So identifying who are the right investors for you is very crucial, and we help with that. And very crucially, since we are well linked with the various government agencies, uh, such as the Department of Science and Technology, Ministry of Electronics and IT, and Department of Biotechnology. So what we do is we facilitate such government grants. In fact, we recently closed a grant which is very specific for COVID solutions, and close to 150 crore of 145 crore of funding was released to various startups which applied under the COVID scheme, which was again by a government agency. So what we do, apart from that, we also have Niti Aayog. So we are well connected with these agencies, by which if you're not in an incubation center, probably you may not be aware, or you may realize it earlier. What we do is that we provide all these host of services at the very beginning itself, so that you know what to choose at what stage. And we provide world-class quality mentorship, both in-house as well as our access to mentors. So when I say mentors, these are entrepreneurs who've been there, done that, kind of people who are serial entrepreneurs. They come and share their success and failure stories, so that we can learn from their mistakes and learn and then in fact, a lot of our alumni from SINE who have graduated, they have come back and serve as mentors for other startups who are starting up. And so we conduct various workshops now in an online model because of the situation currently that we're in. Otherwise, we have a bi-weekly or every month we at least have a couple of trainings which keep happening, and networking. So within the campus, so there is multiple lectures and symposiums which happen, and on a 4 to 5 month we have a demo day or an investor day wherein we showcase all these startups who are at that particular stage where we can expose them to investors or industry. We take them forward and they get access to various networking and visibility opportunities. And along with that, we have various retainers with us, such as the IP, intellectual property. If you want to file a patent, or if you want to strategize when is the right time to file, and making sure that you choose the right market, etc. We have patent attorneys on our panel. We also have legal agencies which can tell you what are the agreements to have in place before you start up, how to form a company, what are the incorporation requirements, and also finance for doing a due diligence when you are in talks with investors. If you want to do something called as a due diligence, which we covered in the earlier sessions, how is the best way making sure that you have the an optimum agreement, that you're not being taken for a ride by the investors, etc. So all these advisory support is given by SINE along with our partners. So if you look at the spectrum of companies, as I mentioned, we are a technology business incubation center, and as a result of which, our mandate is to support startups which are backed with technology. And it's a broad spectrum ranging from ICT software to robotics to healthcare to agri-tech to clean tech to energy to hardware to fintech, defense, and others. So in others, we have startups who are working in chemical engineering, those who are working on multiple other technologies across various domains. So what we provide is that we provide a launchpad for you, and we provide the right network for you to make sure that you succeed. And we are there for facilitating this. As you can see, 160 startups over the last 16 years, of which 1,400 crore has been funding has been raised by these startups, which led to an employment of 4,000. This is during the period of incubation that I'm talking about. The incubation period is usually for a period of 3 years, with the option of extending it depending on the technology that is. So this has been the impact that we have. And currently we have 52 companies who are incubated with us. So we have a physical incubation model as well as a virtual incubation model. So what happens is if you are located elsewhere in the country, or in the lockdown, if you're not able to come to Mumbai or whatever, we have our virtual model wherein we provide all the support that I mentioned here, except the infrastructure support and the lab support. But you receive the entire host of other services which is available. So the virtual model, we have startups right from Delhi to Kerala and other parts, from Gujarat to other parts of India. So graduation is when I said that 3 years they move out from the incubation center and make space for new companies to come in. Another interesting parameter I want to highlight is the SINE versus external funding. So for every rupee that SINE invests, our startups have went on and raised 110x of what we have invested. So that is indeed a great sense of pride for us that our startups go on to become very big outside, within India as well as outside. We have our share of failures as well. So out of the 168, 37 companies have folded. But we have also seen startups who have folded and then come back, and they have again become successful. So in the next slide, I want to talk a little bit about our graduate companies. So SEDIMAC, in fact, Professor Shashikant was one of the speakers in the earlier session. So he, along with his team, are making engine control systems for small engine, which can help in increasing the efficiencies. And they started off as a team of faculty and few students. Now they have 350 employees. They have a factory based out of Pune, and they're clocking revenues of more than 30 million per year. And they have raised 20 million US dollars in investment. Atomic Technologies, we had Shibam come in, who is the chief operating officer of Atomberg, for another webinar we organized. They make what is called as Gorilla fans, which is India's most energy efficient ceiling fans. And they, again, started off by two individuals. Now they have more than 350 employees with them, and revenues of 50 million per year. And they have recently closed funding of 10 million, but overall they raised 12 million in funding. IdeaForge is India's largest supplier of UAVs to defense agencies. And in fact, they have the highest payload quality and performance in their category of unmanned aerial vehicles, and they have raised 13 million in investment. So, with that, I want to hand over to my colleague Rashmi, who can take you through the various collaborations that we have at SINE and other programs available for funding. Rashmi, over to you. In the meantime, there's been a question: is physical versus virtual optional? Well, it's completely dependent on the innovator to decide if they need a space to be within IIT Bombay campus. They can completely choose that. We have a different consideration model between physical and virtual, in the sense that we operate on an equity plus revenue model. So based on that, we can share our consideration in detail if whenever required. But yeah, it's optional. You can choose which one you want to opt for.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Rashmi. Thanks, Rakesh. Rakesh has pretty well covered what support we give in incubation or even in pre-incubation stage. So I'm just talking about the programs which we have for each stage of your of startup's life cycle. So we start with the collaboration. We are closely working with the government. There are various fundings available at different stages from government. We closely work with the DST, Department of Science and Technology, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, and BIRAC. Also, we have corporate connections with the companies where we run different kind of program with them, be it accelerator program or mentoring program, and we help our startups to connect with the corporates industry through them. We have some international connection also. We have connection with this BizNext, which is a Switzerland government organization, and we are connected with the manufacturing industry in Taiwan. Also, we have just recently signed the MOU with University of Toronto also, and we are associated with various investors. Some of them they are mentioned here, but there are many apart from these four mentioned here. So let's mention Parampara. We work closely with the investor. We arrange the investor day, as Rakesh mentioned, for our startups when they are ready for the investment. Moving on to the next slide. Yeah, so as Rakesh mentioned, there are three stages first is the pre-incubation stage, where the innovator is only having the idea and he or she needs support for converting his or her idea into prototype or proof of concept. So there are two different government institutes or government organizations which give the funding. One is DST. DST offers two types of programs. One is Nidhi Prayas, which is a prototyping grant of up to 10 lakhs. And there's also Entrepreneur in Residence program, which is a fellowship for the entrepreneurs who are having idea and they want to validate their idea and convert it into a prototype. And that is up to it is up to 30,000 per month. That's a fellowship with which the entrepreneur will get. This call is generally once in a year, and we will be opening this call soon by the end of July or early August, early first week of August. And once you are onboarded with us as a pre-incubator, you will get all the support, infrastructure, mentorship, whatever support earlier mentioned by Rakesh, all that support you get as a pre-incubator with SINE. Moving on to the next slide. So similar grants are available under METI also. So in METI, the focus is primarily on ICT startups using the technologies IoT, AI, blockchain, robotics, that kind of technologies. And METI has identified the 8 focus areas. This scheme is known as TIDE 2.0. Under this, there are again two programs. One is prototyping grant, which is up to 7 lakhs, convert the idea into prototype, and EIR is up to 4 lakhs, which is for validation of the idea. So if you have any innovative idea and you believe that there is a market, there is a need, unmet need you are trying to solve, these are the two schemes which can help you in the early stage. Next slide. So there is also a program which is focused on the defense, and to cater the Indian defense and aerospace needs. There is a program which is focusing on indigenization and innovative technologies, which supports. Which has a financial support of 1.5 CR. There also the two categories: EIR, Entrepreneur in Residence, and Prototype Grant, which is called as Spark Grant. So this is to develop your product, and then the problem statements are given by defense, and then you need to work on specifically that problem statements, and then you will get the defense as a buyer. So then they will make you connection with the different agencies, nodal agencies, and your product may be purchased by this defense organizations. We have cross-border program, which is also for early stage innovators. So 10 innovators from India and 10 innovators from Switzerland, they come together, and this is a collaborative program between Indian and Swiss government. These entrepreneurs get mentorship, training, boot camp in India for a week, and also they go to Switzerland for 1 week of boot camp. This is basically to give the exposure to our startups, innovators of the ecosystem of Switzerland. And even Switzerland startups, they come here, we connect them with different uh, market connections or businesses leads, whatever their requirement. Depending on the requirement, we connect them with case to case basis. And this is also a program for early stage innovators. So all these 4 programs which I have mentioned, all these programs are for early stage innovators. You have the idea, you have just a proof of concept, and you want to convert it, you want to validate your idea. All these programs, all these fundings are for that stage. So this is typically a pre-incubation stage. So next slide. So when you are ready with a prototype, when you are ready with at least a lab proof of concept, then the stage comes for the incubation. We have incubation process it's a round the year process, and we have our own selection process for incubation. Once we receive the application, our internal expert team discuss on the proposal, and if there is a potential, typically what we look into the proposal is whether there is an innovative technology in that, and is the innovator having right attitude? Does he or she has the passion to follow that idea and take it to the market? And if he or she has a complementary skill team. So typically, if these parameters, if these evaluation parameters, if we feel that there is a potential in the team, in the startup, in the idea, then we take the external reviews. Typically, the external reviews are by the expert or the investors are positive, then we go for incubation. Or if there are any milestones to be completed before the incubation, we call it pre-incubation. There are two types of incubation: physical incubation as well as virtual incubation. So as Rakesh mentioned, if you are located somewhere outside Mumbai and you don't want to relocate, you can opt for virtual incubation. Of course, the remaining support or whatever program specific support, we that remains the same, except for the infrastructure. Then also you can use our shared facilities like fab lab facilities. So we have these fab lab facilities with us, which we will explain in details little later. Typical incubation period is for 3 years, and we very closely monitor the progress of the startup. We help them whatever, if in between, if they need on case to case basis, we help them, we support them, we connect them with the mentors. Our internal expert team discuss on their problems, and if required, we involve external mentors also to support them. Next slide. So now when you are ready with your product, you are ready with your MVP, it's a time to go to market. And that's where the accelerator programs come into picture. As I mentioned, we have different collaborations with the corporate. So one of the corporate Intel India, we have a program called Plugin. We are running in the third cycle of Plugin, and this program it is a 1 year accelerated incubation program, where we take the startups which are at least at a MVP level, and then we provide them. Then this program is basically in collaboration with Intel, SINE, and Government of India DST. So it is a typical program where academia, industry, and corporate coming together and offering the support to the startups. So here we connect, for scaling up, you need the manufacturing facilities, and you need the visibility for funding, and you need one-on-one mentoring also for GTM, your GTM strategy, your business connections. So all this kind of support is provided in this program called Plugin. Next slide. We also have funding support, seed funding support. As I mentioned earlier, we are working with the government, and there are different seed funds available from the government, such as DST, METI, or BIRAC, and seed fund ranging from around 25 lakhs to up to 1 CR, depending on the mandate, depending on the readiness level, depending on the requirement of the startup. This funding is open to all. We generally float call for applications once or twice in a year, and uh, the applicants are internal screening happens, and there is an investment committee which takes a call on funding, which decides the startups for funding. Once we give the funding, we invest in the startup. We also give the incubation and mentoring support to the startups. And for this also, the eligibility criteria is at least you need to be ready with your product development, and then you need this funding for further enhancement of the product, advancement of the product, or go to the market and customer validation, that kind of support. If you need this funding, is helpful at that stage. Next slide. So from here, I request my colleague Shraddha to take over. This is specifically for bio healthcare startups. Shraddha, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Rasmi. Good afternoon, all. Hope I'm audible to all of you. So, SINE is one of the, since all of you know that SINE is one of the prominent technology business incubator in India. And according to 2018's report of the state of the startup ecosystem, there are more than 5,000 startups functional into bio or medtech sector in India as of now. So, to nurture the ecosystem, the entire healthcare medtech startup ecosystem, Department of Biotechnology, Government of India has set up one not-for-profit organization called BIRAC, which is Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council. And BIRAC is functional into empowering all the healthcare, medtech, biotechnology, industrial biotechnology, agriculture, secondary agriculture, dairy research, all these areas, they are empowering the startups in this different area of national importance by supporting the prominent incubators across India by setting up a BioNest, which is a bio incubator facility. So within a bio incubator, there is a um, BIRAC is providing support via different funding scheme, which is available at a different stage of the startup. It starts from ideation stage, like while the person or entrepreneur is not yet set up an entire startup team, formal startup team, and single-handedly wanted to convert his or her research work and taking it towards a commercialization. So it starts from that stage, and it finally ended at the market ready or the commercialization stage. In between these two stages, there are various stages like development of proof of concept and prototype development, validation, and finally the commercialization. Now, as some of you know that the requirement of healthcare startups are very peculiar compared to non-healthcare startups. In terms of, they require a very specific infrastructural support for their product development, for the validation, clinical validation, as well as the regulatory certification. So BIRAC is functional in providing all this support with the help of bioincubators. And in bioincubators, at SINE, we are functionally in nurturing our healthcare startups by providing them the right funding at different stages, by exposing them to different pressing important areas in healthcare sector, and that way we are doing the capacity building. There are very specific infrastructural support available to them for their product development. We are also functional in connecting them to the right stakeholder for their product validation, joint product development, and getting the right mentorship from the domain experts. So, shall we go to next slide, Rakesh? Yeah. So briefly, if I will like to take you through the different funds available to the startups at the different stages. So at the ideation to early stage, there are particularly two funds available. One, a very flagship grant scheme from the BIRAC, which is called Biotechnology Ignition Grant. Many of you must be aware of this also. It can provide a support up to 50 lakh of rupees to the best-in-class innovative ideas to convert their idea and take it to the proof of concept stage. The next call for application will open for this BIG grant on 1st of August. Generally, the call for application happens twice a year, and the entire evaluation cycle takes a time of anything between 6 to 8 months. Another early stage opportunity in the area of biotechnology or healthcare is the students' innovations for advancement of research explorations. So it is for the early stage researchers or students who are who wants to take their research work for the commercialization purpose. So it is further divided into two schemes called GIT and BIIS. GIT is actually an award grant of around 15 lakh of rupees. And the another one is a biotech innovation ignition school. It is a training program for a couple of weeks, like in-house training program. So last date to apply for this BIIS, currently it is open, the call for application. And the last date to apply for this is 30th of September 2020. After this, let's go back to previous slide. Yeah. From ideation to late stage, there are other two funding schemes available. These are not a grant program. This Small Business Innovation Research Initiative, which is called SIBRI, and another one is the Biotechnology Industry Partnership Program, which is called BIPP. These two These two funding scheme is for the little matured startup where you have already formed a startup entity or private limited company or a LLP, and you are functional into prototype development or the validation stage. It is not for the early stage startups. It is actually a partnership scheme. So it is like public-private partnership initiative by BIRA, and it is a matching funding opportunity, meaning that if you are seeking a 1 CR of funding from BIRA, then you need to bring certain percentage of funding by yourself, and BIRA will contribute from their side. Both these funds are royalty linked fund. Next slide, please. The another BIRAC is also functional into equity funding at a different stage. So first one is the seed funding. This scheme also provide funding up to 30 lakh of rupees, while the startup is still into proof of concept to prototype development stage. The another one is the LEAP scheme, which is the launching entrepreneurial driven affordable products fund.
Yeah.
It can provide funding up to 100 lakh of rupees, and it is for the validation, getting the regulatory certification and the commercialization of the startup, where fairly you are at an advanced stage, like TRL 7 or 8 stage. The last fund, which is Accelerating Entrepreneurs Fund, it is equity-based fund of fund, and it is given by the daughter funds set up by the BIRA, where the startup can have a funding up to 7 CR of funding. Yeah. Another one is called the translation research. So, which is coming at the stage where the research is yet not, it is still in the academia or in the research lab, and but it has a technology has a potential to get it commercialized someday. So here, a faculty or a scientist from academia or research lab can apply for this translational research scheme, which is called SPACE scheme. It has a two component, AIR, which is for the prototype development while you are still in the lab, and you want to develop the technology. And the later stage, it is for the contract research scheme. It is for the validation of that product along with the industry partner. So you can validate your technology by availing this CRS fund from BIRA. There are other certain call for applications or funding programs available from BIRA, which are not like regular funds. Regular in the sense that the call for applications are not regular, not comes in a cyclic manner. It is like a special call. So two such programs are in the social innovation domain. One is the fellowship program called Social Innovation Immersion Program, where innovators can take up any challenge which are there in the society for the benefit of the society. It is a fellowship program, and the another one is called the Social Innovation Program for developing products which are affordable and relevant for the societal health. So that grant is Hans first grant, and again it comes as a special call. So as of now, there are three special areas which were decided by BIRA for this social innovation. One was the maternal and child health. The second one was aging and health, and third one was the waste to value. On top of that, BIRA has a certain international partners also, and with the help of partners, time to time they deploy any special call related to any challenge like food and nutrition or maternal child health, or there are special technology led calls like if someone is developing, entrepreneurs are developing a solution with the help of, let's say, artificial intelligence or big data analytics, then there are specific calls for such technologies also. So I would like to recommend you to keep on visiting the BIRAC website, which is given at the end of this slide here, www.birac.nic.in. If you have any query related to any of the BIRAC programs, either you can contact me or you can directly reach to this website for the better clarification. Thank you. Yeah, I would now, my colleague Dr. Pranita will take this next session of the next section of the PPT, which will give brief information about what SINE has in terms of infrastructure for our incubators and the prospective incubators. Thank you.
Thank you, Shraddha. And hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Pranita, and I'll quickly tell you about what all lab facilities we have at SINE. So now, till now, we heard a lot of programs and funding opportunities, and considering you have received some funding, the very next step is to, for you is to establish a POC or develop a prototype. And the very essential thing for that is to have the lab space for research work and the relevant and to have access to the relevant instrumentation facility to develop that thing. So as a technology business incubator, SINE aims to develop the art facility, which will be able to support innovative projects to translate your idea or POC into a commercial venture. And currently, at this point of time, we have established the infrastructure and instrument facility to cater the preliminary requirement for R&D work for startups with the help of course, various government programs like from DBT and DST. Some of them have already mentioned in earlier slide, as Shraddha also rightly mentioned about the BioNest program. It is BIRAC BioNest program from DBT. With the help of that, we have established few as well as with the DST funding programs. In this slide, if you can see that there are three labs which SINE has established, namely Biolab facility at the top, and then at the down metalworking lab facility, as well as electronics and prototyping facility. I'll be talking more about this in next few slides. Rakesh, can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, thank you. So in this slide, this is our SINE metal working lab facility. This slide gives you the glimpse of what in metal working lab. We have a range of metal working machines for development of prototypes, such as CNC milling machines, CNC lathe, manual lathe, other power tools and hand tools, and also the laser cutter, which will help you to develop your prototype when you are at SINE. Can we go to the next slide, please? This is our another lab, that is electronics and prototyping facility. Here you can see that instruments available such as various fabrication tools, including 3D scanners, printers, PCB milling, drilling machine, etc. Again, for the development of your prototype as well as for testing purpose. We have also provided our contact. We have a dedicated person, I mean a lab technician, who will help you while you are at SINE doing work in these labs. You can also visit our SINE website to have more details about these instruments. I have also mentioned the link here. Rakesh, can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so now coming to the another facility which we have established with the help of BioNest program, that is SINE Biolab facility. So some of you must have aware that SINE also focus on startups who work in the medtech and healthcare domains. And the SINE has established a Biolab facility with some basic lab instrument such as biosafety cabinet, shakers, microscope, visible spectrophotometer, PCR machines, probe sonicators. These instruments will help you in doing your basic R&D work, which is related to microbiology, molecular biology, as well as we have certain storage facilities for storing your samples or any other microbiotes or any other samples. We also have gel documentation system here for visualization, protein and DNA gels. These are high-end instruments. We also have a tissue culture lab facility at Biolab. We are also in the process of establishing the facility, which is equipped with high-end instrument, which is essential to validate or test the diagnostic products formulation solution. And this facility will enhance the research ability of the startups or SMEs and research institution, as it will be available at, as it is available at very affordable cost for you when you are at SINE. This facility, I would like to mention here, is that this facility is not just for the SINE incubators or the researchers from IIT Bombay ecosystem, but this is everyone, all the researchers, innovator, even for the outsourced R&D projects or pharma projects who would like to take advantage of this facility. I have, for more details, you can contact me or my colleague Shraddha. I have also mentioned the email address here. You can also write to us to get more details. You can also visit our website for further details. Rakesh, can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, thank you. So along with, when you are at SINE, along with our established lab facility, we also give you the access to other facilities which are already available at IIT Bombay campus, such as sophisticated analytical instrument facility at CRNTS and other departmental common instrument facility based on the interest from the department as well as startups. Some of the high-end instrument I have mentioned in this slide, you can get more information on IIT Bombay sites on particularly for these departmental facilities. Rakesh, can we go to the next slide, please? Okay. So since we have heard so much about what SINE has to offer to the innovators, researchers, as well as the startups, so how you can get involved with us or engage with us? So as Rashmi mentioned, incubation process, you can visit our SINE website where you can you will get this link. You can click on this link and you will be directed to fill the complete form where we'll get more information about your product, your solution, and then we will get back to you after that. Once we this idea is particularly when you fill all this information, our internal business team discuss about this. If we feel that the idea is good and it has a potential, the team is good, we invite the team for the internal pitching to the business team. Further, if we like the idea and if everything goes okay, we go for the external review. As already Rashmi has already covered these points. And after, if we get the if we get a good reviews about the projects and all, we further go for the incubation based on it is case to case basis. Rakesh, can we go to the next slide, please? Yes, so this is our team. This is SINE team. So SINE has a team of experienced people having combined experience in the domain of life sciences, healthcare, electronics, product development, business management, as well as administration. And our team also comprises of the people with PhD and master's degree from eminent institutes like IITs. We also leverage the expertise from faculty from IIT Bombay to support its startups in technical domain. We have onboarded several faculties by our startups as a mentors or advisors. So when you are at SINE, you get access to all these expertise. Can we go to the next slide, please, Rakesh? So this is one of the achievement that SINE is also recognized as a COE, that is Center of Excellence by DST. And this is in this slide you can see our our upcoming building, which is expected to be up and running by next year. We have total 16,000 square feet area, which is earmarked for the SINE lab and research facility, as well as around 100 innovators or startups, like a huge space for them, and provide an infrastructure support for them, startup offices, co-working space, or the lab facilities. So this is one of the offering which SINE has for all the startups who would like to approach us. Can we go to the next slide, please?
Yeah, yes, Pranita, just to tell something here that our lab facilities are open to non-incubatees as well. So other people who want to make use of this facility can also approach us and we can help you facilitate that.
Yeah, sure, Rakesh. Yes. Yep. So Rakesh has a very important point that it is these lab facilities are open to everyone. Whoever would like to take the advantage of the facility can visit our website and take more information about how to approach us and all. So this is another important slide for some of the people. Here we are also stated that some of the calls which are going to be open in the next month. The first week of August, there could be some calls opening up for the prototyping grant EIR under DST and METIS. As well as Shraddha also mentioned about one of the BIRAC program, that is BIG, Biotechnology Ignition Grant Scheme. So the next call for that is again opening on 1st August. So please visit our website for more details about these calls and other programs also. Can we go to the next slide? So here we have also mentioned about our email addresses, that is bd@sineitb.org. For the business team, if you would like to contact us, this is the email address which you can use. And of course, with that, I would like to thank you all for joining us, and we will be playing one short video. After that, we will be taking questions from you guys. Over to you, Rakesh.
Rakesh, the sound is not audible.
Sorry, I was on mute. Sorry, I'll just play it once again.
Yeah, can we start it again, please? Thanks.
Society
Is it
for
clear?
Innovation and Entrepreneurship. SINE is a technology business incubator set up to promote and nurture entrepreneurship. SINE has witnessed in the last 2 decades over 150 startup stories of risk takers that dared make their dreams happen. These entrepreneurs have the potential to create jobs, revitalize, and strengthen local and national economies.
Idea Force is a leader in unmanned aerial systems with over 700 systems deployed with our armed forces and various other corporates in the country. It started in IIT Bombay at the SINE Incubation Center. We started a business in the defense sector and hardware, which was really unheard of at that point in time. It was extremely lonely journey for a while as far as those two fields and streams are concerned. I think it's because of our association with SINE in the early days and how they groomed us, helped us sustain, that we are able to build onto this leadership position in the global market.
Business incubation at IIT Bombay began in late 90s. The larger ecosystem needed for startup was missing in the country in those days. Initial finance to set up an incubator came from two distinguished alumni, Kanwal Rekhi and Nandan Nilekani. The pilot succeeded beyond expectation. Students nurtured into successful entrepreneurs and graduated into the real world to face the actual business competition.
In order to leverage the technical skill that we have set up SINE to make sure that some of these products get developed from our industrial research. Our model of business and its governance structure has become one of the talking points of the government of India in terms of asking others to follow the IIT Bombay SINE model.
Set up in 2004, SINE is one of the early incubators in academia with a potential to create wealth, strategic value, and social relevance. It has been a launchpad for many entrepreneurs in their journey from starting to scaling up, and many going to international markets.
Early stage startup requires space to work and experiment. They require access to market, capital, advisors, and lots of soft supports. Our Start to Scale Up program try to cater to various needs of startup at different stage. And more importantly, SINE provides a milieu where startups come together, work together, and leverage from each other's learning and network.
The incubator at IIT Bombay helped us evaluate the ideas before really taking the big jump and actually starting up operations in companies and so on. At a personal level, it helped me make a career decision and also discover whether entrepreneurship was really a career for me.
What happened with formation of SINE and we being the first company there was that we could
get know-how into other areas other than technical, like legal or accounts or marketing, and we expanded. We are existing since 15 years, and we have done maybe 200 plus projects for the defense and aerospace industry, and 400 in total.
Various government departments have become stakeholders in the journey of SINE. Department of Science and Technology, DST, has extended various grants for business incubation, funding support, and program support. In addition to DST, SINE has also partnered with Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, BIRAG under Department of Biotechnology, and Ministry of Defense. Through these linkages, SINE has been channelizing government's initiatives for startups' advantage.
SINE has been one of our incubators, and they have been successful in promoting quite a few of very deep tech innovations. And we are really proud to associate with SINE.
All these startups have the best chance to succeed because they are getting incubated in SINE. SINE has been really facilitating their journey, one in terms of giving exposure to the ecosystem, connecting them to the right faculty, and giving them the right financial guidance, so on and so forth.
My startup is in healthcare space, which generally has a long gestation period and requires a huge capital. We have benefited from SINE's network and support in terms of funding, different programs, different government grants, and most importantly, experiential sharing with other incubated startups.
We collaborate with SINE IIT Bombay since the year 2016, when we started to work together on the Academia Industry Training Program, where we select and together coach 10 best Indian and 10 best Swiss researchers to commercialize their work. Since then, we started to collaborate beyond the programs at an ecosystem level.
Going forward, we look at expanding our program, support more startups by having larger infrastructure, better facilities, more market access, and customers.
With a sound foundation laid over 15 years, SINE aims to achieve newer heights.
So that was in terms of the presentation as well as the small video that we played. We'll take some questions now.
Yeah, so Rakesh, just to start with the first one, maybe you can take on from there. The first question says, is idea enough for technology should also be available with startup? One of you might like to answer.
Right, so we come in at an idea level as well. So it really depends whether what have they done with the idea? Is it on pen and paper, or have they actually went outside and spoken to people and validated it? Because a pen and paper idea which comes to us, we would guide them. They can still come to us, but we would guide them that these are the things that you need to make sure that it needs to be done to ensure that there is actually a need from within the market, something what we call as customer discovery. In fact, that topic is what we'll be covering in the next SINE webinar in the Power Hour series, but it'll be useful to attend. So idea stage we do take, but we look at validation and we kind of train people on how it is to be done and bring to the prototype level by access to our labs, etc.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Yeah, there is another question which says we are a 2.5-year-old startup. They've designed and developed 2 electronic products which are ready for production, couple of other products in pipeline. How can they avail? What kind of facility and accelerator program should be available to such a startup?
Shraddha, you want to take that?
So, in what area the startup is in? Like the products?
So the startup is in electronic products.
Electronic products. So depending on the kind of product you have, if you are looking for an incubation, then yes, like you have to apply for our incubation, and then we will take you through our process of a review process. And if it is eligible for other prototype funding programs, then yes, we can guide you for to getting those funding supports.
Okay, thank you. There's another question which says, any one of you can answer. This is, can an invention enter into any life cycle stage at SINE? Can an invention enter into any life cycle stage at SINE? Yeah.
Right. So, what type of invention will be important to know? Definitely, we our trust area is in technology at an early stage, although we have programs at an later stage as well. But I think with an innovation, I think it will come to at a early stage when they have something which they have come up as part of the research or they have licensed it off from somewhere. We could definitely come in at that particular stage. But if it is late stage, if it is scale up, we have the accelerator program as well for supporting. So as we mentioned, end-to-end support from right from early stage to late stage, where there is support available from SINE.
Thanks, Rakesh. There's another question. I'm on ideation stage for my startup and I'm based in Gujarat. Can I apply for incubation, and is virtual mentoring and funding support provided by SINE?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, virtual incubation program is available even at an idea stage. We would, as Shraddha also mentioned, we would redirect you to certain grants that can help them in reaching that particular prototype or making sure that whatever is there on paper or in their mind can be brought into practice. And we would definitely be able to guide virtually, because even now everything is happening virtually. So it is possible, even more better way that in the current situation.
There's another question which says, can an alumni, not just current students, so basically they want to know what kind of, who all can apply to SINE for a startup for incubation? Is it only for IT or outside IT, or is it for current students or alumni?
It's for all, as long as they have a technology-based innovation, something which can demonstrate, preferably with IP, something which is a replica of something which has been done somewhere else, and trying to replicate it here may not be encouraged. But if it has a clear differentiator, definitely we would be able to support.
There's another question by Prashant Sahu. We have a prototype but no patent. Is it important to get a patent done properly for an incubation? Do you help in CE certification?
Sure. Pranita, Shraddha, you want to take that?
Yeah. So, during the course of incubation, yes, we put the startups in connect with different IP facilitator for the intellectual property filing, and guiding them that what kind of portfolio they can have. If it is a heavy portfolio, patent portfolio led startups, like some of the startups in mechatronics or robotics, or domain like a healthcare. We put the startups in connect with experts who can help them for the different regulatory certification as well as the IP facilitation. Regarding the incubation, prospect of incubation based on the that patent is there or not, we take a call based on the strength of the application, strength of the technology also, and that how whether it is a best in a class or first in a class. We take a call on based on that.
Thank you, Shraddha. So there's a question, basically, you've covered this in your session, but again, virtual incubation, physical incubation. Maybe a little clarity will help.
It's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, Pranita, you want to take that? Physical versus virtual.
I didn't hear the question properly. Gaga, can you please repeat?
Yeah, so they wanted to basically understand more about virtual incubation, but in the context of physical also. So maybe can you kind of subtly differentiate the two?
Okay. So thing is that as Rakesh already pointed it out, so if your startup is somewhere is not in the vicinity and you don't want to have the infrastructure at like office space or anything at SINE, you can also opt for the virtual incubation. At that point of time, you get the access to all other facilities like industry connect or connect to our mentors, even the access to our lab facilities, even if you want to have access to our meeting rooms and all other things, or investors meet and all those sort of other facilities you can avail. At the same time, the consideration model is different for virtual versus physical incubation. That can be discussed when you come to us for this thing, incubation request. However, if you don't want to have the infrastructure, you can go for the virtual incubation. Other facilities or everything remains the same.
Thanks. There are a
Just
few
to
more
add to
questions.
this,
Yes.
just to add to this, the process of selection remains same for virtual as well as physical incubation. So selection process will be the similar process as physical incubation.
That helps. Thanks. So we will just extend the session by another few minutes because there are questions pouring in. So
Ganga, can I just interrupt here? There is one more question which I see, which is actually in context with the discussion which we just had about how to apply for virtual incubation. So in that case, for physical or virtual incubation, if you wanted to incubate at SINE, you have to visit the SINE website. We have provided all the necessary links there. If you click on the link, you will forward it to another site where you have to fill in all the detailed information about your solution, product, or technology or idea at whatever stage it is. And then this information, we will look into this information and further we will contact you based on that. And then further, if the idea is good and everything, we can go further for the pitching and the reviews further.
Thanks. Thank you. Another question. We are extending by a few minutes because we have questions. Can an automobile innovative idea can be incubated with SINE? Rashmi, you want to take this question?
Yes, the answer is yes. Any innovative idea having some technology IP, it can be incubated at SINE if it is solving any unmet need.
Okay, thank you. Another question, Rashmi, on the same lines. We have technology which is validated and accepted by customers. Presently, technology is in pilot stage. We want to scale up. What should be our next step for scale up? Will SINE help?
Yes. So if you have validated your technology, you can come for incubation, apply for our incubation program, and we can support you. We can handhold you for your next step of scale up in manufacturing as well as in business.
Okay, thank you. I think most of the questions have been covered. There are some questions which are repeated on the same lines. So I think we've kind of covered most of the questions. Are there any more questions which Pranita or somebody can see?
One of the question is, are you open for physical visits these days? So currently we are not, IIT Bombay is not allowing external people inside. So we are virtually working. So you can connect with us over email, over phone, and we will guide you.
So just to add on regarding the accelerated support. So depending on the scale that you want to have, we will do an evaluation as to what are the expectations of that. It could be in the funding, or it could be in the range of go-to-market, or getting further technical optimization. So we have various corporate partners that we engage with, and we also mentioned about accelerator programs with corporate partnerships. What we do is that we would connect with them. We would connect with the industry partners and see if there is actually a challenge, what you call an industry problem that your solution can help solve, and we will do the necessary identification and the connection. And we have in-house as well as external mentors who can help you in providing a relevant strategy. For example, one of our startups was looking at expanding into the US market. So an entrepreneur who has already done that, we would make those particular connection within the IIT Bombay ecosystem, or other entrepreneurs, SINE alumni, or from within the ecosystem. So we would do an analysis to see what kind of support is required. Based on that, we would provide the support. We also provide soft landing support for external, for example, a startup located overseas to come into India. That is something that we do with our partners with which we are engaged with. So depending on where you want to go, what stage, there is support based on the analysis done by the team.
Yeah, thanks, Rakesh. There's a question, Shraddha, you may like to take it. I have just the simulation data for a drug. Can I apply for big grant?
Yes, if you have done some preliminary work on that subject, yes, you can apply for the BIG, because drugs and biosimilars vaccine development is also one of the area under BIG.
Yeah. Okay. I think maybe one of you can. They want to know when is the next call for application for Nidhi Prayas. There's a question.
Sorry, Nidhi Prayas, you said, right?
Yes.
Sure. Next call for application for Nidhi Prayas, EIR, and even METI EIR and grant is coming up soon in couple of weeks, maybe by end of July or early August. Visiting our website, we update regularly, so keep visiting our website for more information.
Okay, thanks. Shraddha, there is a question. I have 3 patents published, not yet granted. So does SINE give support for, in the activity of moving from patents to grants?
So, we need more detail here, because what kind of support you are requiring, to taking forward any of your patented technology for commercialization purpose, or you want some support in maintaining these patents. So yeah, we can take discuss this offline or over the email, that what kind of support you are requesting from SINE.
Okay. Can a final year PhD student apply for any support, Nidhi or any other type of support?
Yes, they can apply actually, but preferably they should not be overlap of activities, because all these grants require that you should be full time onto that project that you have adopted, if you are getting funding from the any of these programs.
Okay. So many of them have again asked for, the contact details. So Rakesh, I don't know if you have the presenter access, but they still want to know where to write, etc. Some of them have been answered. So there's one question. I'm a co-founder of a startup currently in Egypt. Can I receive support? India.
So for any of incubation support at SINE, the company should be the shareholding of that company, 51% should be live with the Indian citizen, at least minimum 51% to get any support, incubation support at SINE.
Yeah. So there's a question from the IITB campus, probably a student. For students of IITB, is it compulsory to take a NOC?
Yes, of course, because if you are a IIT Bombay student and during your student tenureship, you have come across or you have developed the technology, or you have done some research work here inside the campus, though that research work or your work at campus doesn't come out as any form of intellectual property, like in form of publication or in form of a patent, but the knowledge that you have acquired, the know-how of taking it forward, that technology, that also an intellectual property. So yes, you need to take an NOC from IIT Bombay. You need to contact IRCC for this NOC purpose.
Yeah, I think most of the questions have got covered. If there are still any more questions, I guess over to you, Rakesh. Rashmi, you might want to do the closing ends.
Right, so we come to the close of another webinar series, Power Hour series at SINE. So in case there are more questions, you can write to us at pd@sineitb.org, or you can look us up at www.sineitb.org as well. And as the next Power Hour series, we will have an interesting session by Dr. Raj Jaswa. He is based out in the US, and that will be on the Friday. It will be a late evening session because of the time difference. So
it's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
Yeah.
It's a Saturday, the 18th of July, right? The 18th of July. It will be from 8:30 to 9:30 India time.
Yes.
8:30. Yeah. All right. So we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much for joining the session. Bye. Thanks, Shraddha, Rashmi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a nice day.